It is often said an extraordinary situation unquestionably requires extraordinary measures. The highly anticipated second economic stimulus package pale as compared to our neighboring countries, the like of Singapore and Australia, where the focus is primarily to ensure the small and medium enterprises survive this economic crisis in order to continue to drive the economy. In short, this economic stimulus package is somewhat a killjoy and is colossally disappointed for the many SMEs. Believe me, many of us are sympathetic towards the deprived and the B40 communities, but this second economic stimulus package is very much skewed towards taking care of them at the expense of leaving behind the SME. Why? Surely the SMEs are the companies that leads the national, if not the world economic growth. Without the SMEs, there is no multinational companies. Wake up! To save the Malaysian economy, the Malaysian government has recently unveiled a second rescue plan worth a whopping sum of 250 billion to help the Malaysian business community, whether small or big, with the slogan of "No one will be left behind." Is it really? I can't repeat enough that the latest economic stimulus package has harshly left behind the SMEs. There's hardly anything for the SMEs other than to encourage these SME owners to take on heavier financial burden with their already heavy borrowing in order to pay for their business expenses, bearing in mind with no sales, no cash flow, dire financial situation. To all of us, it is a big mistake of the government to ignore the SMEs. Surely, the financial assistance should be given to the people or to the entity who are currently suffering financially and not otherwise. To urgently address what has not already been done, we wish for the government to quickly put together some of these urgent pleads. Plead 1. EPF contribution waiver effective March 2020. Instead of payment deferment options, what the SME needs right now is for the government to waive EPF contributions for at least 6 months effective March 2020, bearing in mind that this waiver is of no cost to the government. If possible, waiver of all statutory payments like SOCSO, ERS, and SSD for a limited period of say 6 months, effective March 2020. Plead 2. Subsidies for wages and salaries costs. In addition to the waiver of the EPF contributions for a limited time period of say 3 months, some form of subsidies towards wages and salaries costs would be welcome, as SMEs currently do not have any trading activities, and I repeat, no sales, no cash flows, dire financial situations. Alternatively, subsidies in some cash form of a proposed 30 to 50% contributions towards the actual cost incurred with supporting comparison to previous months of the previous year's cost incurred on a month-by-month basis would be a welcome breather. Heavy fine can be imposed for any SMEs who submit fraudulent claims as a deterrent to those who are not genuine. Alternatively, allow employers and employees to mutually agree a pay cut in order to keep their jobs. Under this crucial time, each and everyone needs to play a part to make sacrifices. One would have thought that the government would be sensible enough to take care of the SMEs in order to sustain the economy and to protect any job loss to avoid spiking up unemployment levels. Plead number 3, income tax. Did you know the tax authority is one of the biggest stakeholders in our businesses, and yet in difficult times like now, why are we not extended a helping hand? Surely, to help the SMEs, please consider reducing the income tax rate by at least 30% for the year of assessment 2019 and the year of assessment 2020 to allow for the past 1 year's profit tax to be retained to assist with cash flows. Not that many of the SMEs are making profits during the Covid-19 crisis. Allow the revision of CP 204 to a lower tax amount instead of the maximum revision of no less than 85% of the previous year's tax. Plead number 4, shopping malls rental. Government should consider to reduce a directive, or to issue a directive rather, to all shopping malls owner to reduce their rental and or at least temporarily waive all rentals during the MCO periods, and thereafter perhaps a reduced rental until business recuperates from this economic crisis. Government financial aid is urgently needed, as in our last final plea number 5. Increase budget deficit to help the SMEs with the intention to boost the economy. Cash is very much needed. Right now, many of the SME industries are already displacing COVID-19 symptoms with respiratory problems, difficulties in breathing, with some already in intensive care units, suffering from severe no sales, no cash flow syndromes. The retail industries need a direct injection of cash flow, and this is where we are advocating that the government need to increase its budget deficit. The governments need to consider setting up a cash rescue fund for the COVID-19 casualty immediately. I repeat, what the country needs is for the government to inject liquidity into the market soonest in order to revive the economy with the current economic situation of no business, no money, no employers, no employee, and so no taxes to pay.